Hello and welcome to the Congo Hour. My name is Trippy. I'm going to be by myself this evening, but I do have two very good friends who are going to be my guests. So it's like I'm not alone at all. Dr. Donald Morton is going to be here. He's coming up in our second interview. He's going to talk about the complexities of Color Summit that is coming up. And then we have, but first we have a very good friend of mine also, Sonny Bono, Clarence Taylor, who is talking about his upcoming book. This is something that he is so proud of, and I am very proud of also, just to be a part of Sonny's life. He's a young guy from, well, he's not young anymore, but he's a guy from Wilmington who has been a professional boxer, and he has a book coming out. He's going to tell us all about it. After that, we're going to talk about some things that are going on in the city, and then we're going to have our funeral announcements. We're going to have some community news and some birthday shout-outs. So I just want to welcome you to the show, Sonny. It's been a while since you've been here, man.
Yeah, absolutely right about that, Trip. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
And lately, since boxing been over with for me, man, I've been.
Let's take it. Let's go. Let's start from the beginning.
All right. Let's go.
Let's kind of. We don't want to give the book away. You know, we want people to definitely read the book. But we want to talk about who you are. You know. Okay. What made you who you are? How'd you get involved in boxing? What have you been doing after boxing?
Well, first and foremost, my name's Clarence S. Taylor. This started up, and I'm one of the guys that had a little rough life, a rough time in life, and me being who I am, meaning that I had a non-caring attitude sometimes, had me going the wrong path. But during my life today, I had an opportunity to pick up a Bible, and that Bible really taught me how to understand life, enjoy life, and be responsible and respectful to other individuals in life. And then your life will be a little better too, as you guys can see now. It ain't easy, and they didn't tell me it was going to be easy, but this is where I'm at today, and I'm just blessed to be able to still stand firm during the trials and tribulations in my life to stay here, you know, and have the right mind.
Yeah, I mean, we've been through a lot. We've probably been friends since we were about,
I'm going to say about
like,
13 years old.
Yeah, I was going to say like 12 or 13.
Yeah.
Sonny used to live right around the corner from where my parents have their business. So we became friends at a very young age, and Sonny used to spend the whole summers with us.
Yeah.
And there were four of us. We used to call ourselves the Four Horsemen.
The Four Horsemen.
It was Sonny, Ricky Cook, Jay Tabron, and myself. And we used to always be together. And eventually, you know, as we got a little older, you know, a couple of years down the road, Sonny, I think you were the first one that started getting in trouble.
Exactly.
Yeah, you were the first one out of the four.
Before this, the studio came here was a place called the Coca-Cola plant.
Yeah.
And I used to like run in there, take cases of sodas, and you know, and then eventually, you know, I wind up over somewhere else. But
Now talk about it. I mean, you first you were at Ferris.
Yeah, I was at Ferris.
Then you went on to Gander Hill.
I went on to Gander Hill. But check this out. I'm not going to let me tell y'all my story of my life that you guys are going to catch one day soon. So the moral to my story is that I'm blessed to put it in a book, in a book form where this is something that you don't get a chance to see every day or hear somebody then stole somebody's car and came.
I was gonna get to that. As close as we were.
Yeah.
Sonny, my dad got a call one night about 2:00 in the morning from the Philadelphia police department saying that Sonny had stolen one of our cars.
Stole a station wagon, and this is why I love Trippy and Mr. C and them, because we're friends. We're friends from anything, and he's the guy that lets you know that we're not perfect, right? And we make mistakes, but we're not a mistake. And if somebody like you guys can keep lending a hand and pulling you out that crab basket, I'm blessed to be a part of the family now, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and I guess throughout all that, we did kind of, I guess, lose some of our closeness when we were younger because of that incident, and you just kept getting in trouble, so I had to separate myself a little bit. But we always remained friends, and after you got yourself together, we became even closer.
Yeah,
You were
man.
in my wedding. I was in your wedding.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I mean, we've been close ever since, and we've been through a lot. That's why I'm just so proud of him because he did like you said, Sonny, you did have a rough life coming up, but somehow, like you said, through God,
Through
you
God,
got
man.
yourself together, and here you are now.
I tell people the Bible is so beautiful. You can begin at the beginning, but you got to skip through it. Like my chapter in the Bible, honestly, is Hebrews chapter 11. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not yet seen. I never knew I was going to become a champion with the lifestyle that I live. But when you start believing in the word and then you break the word down and you say, faith is the substance. The substance today to me is that belt.
Yeah, let's talk about let's go back a little bit. I guess when we were younger, you used to be the one that fought for everybody. He wouldn't let. He
Hold up,
wouldn't let.
hold up. Say that again.
Anybody
say that
in the
again.
neighborhood, if somebody came in the neighborhood trying to fight, Sonny was always the one that took up for everybody in the neighborhood. And I guess eventually he started putting his good hands and his good chin
to use.
to use, and started boxing. What year did you start boxing,
I
Sonny?
started boxing in 2011.
No, not 2011.
Yeah, I started boxing professionally 2001.
Yeah, 2001.
2001,
Yeah.
I literally was supposed to start boxing actually September 11th. See, that's what I tell people. I wear a New York hat. I used to wear that when I boxed because I wore it for the families and friends that may have passed away in the World Trade Center, and I know my proceeds, that the money that I was buying for that hat was going to their family. Some individuals say, "Oh, you wear New York because you're riding their bandwagon." Nah, I wore it because we lost a lot of people in the Trade Center, and I couldn't reach out to their family through words, but I spent my money, and I knew that proceeds was going back to their family. That's some of the things of me, and I got trivias for people, cause God's been wonderful, man. Honestly, He has, Trippy, and I gotta say this because some people don't know. I'm the first person in boxing history. When I heard my grandma, and you knew my grandma, my grandma told us one day, "Oh, Jimmy Carter and Ronald Reagan, they're going to always be in the White House. They're going to always be in the White House," like that, right? We're never going to get somebody in the White House to fight for us. But today, I can literally say, for my grandma, I'm the first person in boxing history to have a senator such as Mr. Barack Obama as senator sign my belt as a senator, then turn around and sign that belt again as the president. And he's the first African American man to our generation. And my grandma can understand. Today I could say, "Grandma, I love her. She knew that." But I got a moral that she says, "A loser watches things happen. A winner makes things happen." I love my family, and I love Trippy because my book is wonderful, and I ain't holding nothing back.
Okay.
I'm bringing it all out, man.
All right. I guess one of the most remarkable things about your boxing career, Sonny, is that you went straight to the pros, right? You didn't have an amateur career.
No
at all.
amateur career at all.
What made you do that? I know you started down at West Center City.
Honestly, you want me to tell you what made me do that?
What made you just jump straight to the pros? Most guys have like a couple hundred amateur fights, but you just went straight to the pros.
I had no money in my bills to get paid.
There you go.
And I didn't want to go back on the block hustle. So I had no money, and I had to get $400 for 4 rounds. Ain't bad. Then they started paying the Joker $3,500 for 6 rounds. So yeah, it was just a blessing.
Sense, huh?
It made sense, but it was also a blessing to let someone out in TV world know, never give up on your dreams. Whether it's reading, whether it's being a doctor, whatever it is, never give up on your dreams. I'm out there to let you know, man, if I can make it. And when you read my book, I literally want to thank Diamond because she put up with a lot of stuff with me, one of the publishers. I like to thank her because she the one kept me motivated to say, yo, don't give up on it. My book supposed to been out about I'm gonna say about 2 years ago.
Yeah, but I mean,
It's
it
here.
wasn't time then.
It wasn't.
Yeah,
It
but now
wasn't
it is.
time. And my whole thing is, I appreciate what Diamond have done, but I also appreciate what Sonny done for himself today. And just don't give up on your dreams. You can't give up on your dreams because you're gonna have haters out there. But guess what I got in Delaware today? It's a lot of Sonnies out there today because I turned around, somebody said, yo, Sonny, you gonna cut my hair? I said, I don't cut hair. He said, nah, my man in the chair at one of my friend's barbershops. So, hi, Sonnies. How you guys doing out there?
I know a major person in your life also somebody who played a major role is your pastor.
Yes.
Yeah, so let's talk about him for a minute.
Pastor
and his
Brown, man.
relationship.
Pastor Calvin Brown, he's like my big brother at days, my uncle, my father, because I go to New Life Christian on 3rd and Clayton, and we have Friends and Family Day today, you know, and me ripping and running, put my posters up, I'm shooting back and forth. But Pastor Calv is the man that I really respect and appreciate because with my Bible knowledge, I wouldn't have had it if I didn't listen to how he broke it down to you and let you know. I mean, yeah, we like today we might have made a mistake, but if give the Lord 15 minutes of your time and be real about it, can't nobody be upset with you but you. I don't care what you say about me, but Pastor Brown got it that way, and I thank you, Pastor Brown. And he wouldn't be that way if he didn't have a first lady to keep him in check. And I thank you, Miss Brown, the first lady.
That's
you
right.
know.
So
yeah.
when can we expect the book?
We're looking at no later than the 18th of December,
Okay.
or we'll give it to you the beginning of 2014.
All right.
And that's coming from me, and I know the people that supports me and the people that's making this book happen, I know they'll be looking forward to getting it out no later than the 18th for the beginning of 2014, so we can have a wonderful Christmas and a beautiful new year, you know?
Okay.
And
So we'll have to have you come back on once the book is out so we can talk about where people can get it. We can get a little bit more into the book too.
Yes, and
you know what else I love about you, Sonny, is that you realize the struggles that you had coming up, and you never forgot, like, you know, where you came from, even though you were traveling across the country, and you always went back to West Center City and the whole city of Wilmington really to try to help the kids.
That's all I can do, because I was one of them guys that, you know, went to fairs, went to Gander Hill. I might not be like the college brainy guy, but I'm the guy that can learn right from wrong. And I'm gonna tell the TV world, if the light is red and you walk across the street, and remember, if the light's red, you walk across the street and you get hit, you can't be mad at the guy that drove the car. You gotta be mad at yourself. That's just how life is.
Right.
That's simple. And I love you again, Trip, and
Love you too, bro.
man, thanks for having me. And I'm just saying, whoa, it was a long time coming, but we did something positive, and never give up on your dreams. And I'm still dream chasing.
Okay.
I am.
All right, boss. So we'll have you on, I guess, in a few more weeks, probably about six or 8 weeks once the book is out. All right.
I wouldn't mind coming back, and I'll come back with some.
Okay. I
Yes.
appreciate that. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and I'll be right back with Pastor Donald Morton. Hello, and welcome back to the show. I hope that you enjoyed the first interview. Now we're going to have a good friend of the city of Wilmington, a good friend of our family, Dr. Donald Morton. What's going on, boss?
It's a good day, man. Thank you
every
for
day
having me
is.
on. Yes,
All
sir.
right.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
So what's going on? What you coming on to talk about tonight?
The Complexities of Color
Okay.
Summit is this coming Saturday. Over the last several months, right on the heels of the George Zimmerman verdict with the murder of Trayvon Martin.
Right.
The News Journal asked me what could be done beyond the verdict, because the verdict was already in. And one of the things that I promised them that I would do is to convene a conversation around race.
Okay.
For those of us in our community who believe somehow we're in a post-racial society because of the election of President Barack Obama. I think what we saw with this is that we are far from a post-racial society. But we needed to have some substantive conversation around race and what that looks like in a contemporary culture. And so we began to kind of put our minds together to see what that would look like, and brought in some of the foremost intellectuals on the subject. Dr. Mark Lamont Hill, I don't know whether you know him, Columbia University and the Huffington Post, has written extensively on hip hop and education. Dr. Yaba Blay at Drexel University is coming, talking about colorism, this whole light skin, dark skin issue that exists even within our own communities. Dr. Najuma Smith Pollard from the University of Southern California, who deals with the womanist perspective and sexism. And then Dr. Armando Milan from the University of Delaware. So it's going to be a phenomenal time. Dr. Milan has written extensively around the whole issue of color and its impact on the criminal justice system, or the criminal justice system's impact in relationship to color. So it's going to be a phenomenal time, and tickets are going very, very well. It's free, but we just got to know that people have to register in order to be there. And it promises to be an explosive kind of conversation.
Where's it going to be?
University of Delaware.
Okay.
In Mitchell Hall. And they've been wonderful. They really have been wonderful. Cassandra Moy and her staff over there at the Center for Black Culture, they're wonderful to make sure that we get the name out and have a good conversation about it.
I think we do. Did you write down your number on that paper?
I did.
Okay. So
Yes,
we're
sir.
going to ask Avin to put that up. I know something is wrong with the equipment, so they can't put up. They can't type in the information, but he said he can put your phone number up,
Okay.
so people can call
Okay.
you.
Okay.
They have some more information. But how can people register?
They can register by going online. For all the technologically savvy people, they can go online to www.thecolorcomplex.info. Thecolorcomplex.info, and they can hit in the upper left-hand corner. There's a button that says register now. They can hit that button, and they will get their registration and a little QR code. Right, they can download it right from their computer, bring it to the event, and you have access to the event. So it's going to be an exciting time.
What time does it start?
3 o'clock to 6 o'clock, and Dr. Hill, man, is a phenomenal young brother who is a PhD, and he's just phenomenal, very, very engaging, and is going to bring it real. I think what we did not want to do is to have the conversation that has already been held, right? We've talked about, race for a number of years, but we seemingly,
What can people expect to get out of this?
we want to have an honest dialogue, what I call a subcutaneous kind of dialogue. What's beneath the surface of it all? Not just the statistics and the facts and the figures, but what's beneath the surface of it all? Is there self-hatred involved? Why are there African American males, by and large, going into the prison system at massive numbers? How do we curb that? Is there a problem with sexism? One of the things that I brought out to our people at our church that they really weren't aware of is the fact that the first March on Washington 50 years ago had a lot of black people, but no women on the platform, right? And so we were fighting racism, but there was still prominent sexism involved. And so I think now we're at a place where we're able to kind of deal with all of those things, and the community will be there, the audience will be there, and they're going to ask the hard questions.
Like locally, what do you think that we can do as a community to address some of the issues, like you said, about the prison population, the education? How do you think we address some of the things that are really going on in our communities?
Well, I think it's never one silver bullet, and
That's
I think
true.
a part of what we have to kind of get away from is thinking that every one person has all the answers. I think it's going to take all of us.
That's true.
And your responsibilities as city council. It's going to take the mayor. It's going to take the clergy, and everybody take a piece. Remember, that's really what the Hope Commission was supposed to be about. It was supposed to be about everybody taking a piece and everybody doing their part to kind of eradicate violence. Having said that, I think there are a couple of things that are glaring indications of what we can do. Number one is we have to challenge the school systems to be better, because
yeah, definitely.
the statistics are clear that if in fact a person has a strong education, the likelihood of them entering the prison population is very, very unlikely. Okay, that's number one. A part of that, though, means that we've got to begin to engage African American teachers, because there's a cultural divide. Does not mean at all that our Caucasian brothers and sisters can't teach us. What it does mean is that I am specifically frustrated with schools that have predominantly white instructors but black disciplinarians, which suggests that the only thing we're good for is disciplining and keeping our children in check, but we're not good enough to educate.
That is so true. I have a friend of mine who's a teacher, and he's not anywhere near like the he doesn't have a supervisor role.
Okay.
But every time a student gets in trouble, they call on him
Absolutely.
to discipline the student, or to try to bring some peace to the situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're right.
And it's not to put him on blast. I graduated from here, so I got to say it, and I got to kind of run it right with them. Howard High School of Technology is my alma mater, right? It has less than 20% African American instructors, and that's a challenge. That's a significant challenge. In the disciplinary department, though, we're there. We're there in large numbers. We're just not in front of the classroom. So what does it say to a student? Devin Henson was on a couple of months ago, and he challenged that school of thought by saying every African American teacher ain't really for our children. And I can buy that. I can swallow that. But I think the image that is set when a student gets in trouble, they see you and I's face. But when they want to be educated, the only one likely enough to educate them is a Caucasian teacher. And I think we have to begin to fight that. Number two, to fight violence, we got to have jobs. You got to have them. There's no way to fight violence without addressing economic vitality.
Right.
And it cannot just be down at the waterfront or the riverfront. It has to be in the neighborhoods. And until we're having businesses that we have very lenient business laws here, great chancery courts that are friendly toward business, but the businesses are not pouring back into the community. So there's a problem when we've got businesses setting up all throughout the city of Wilmington, but none of them have any proverbial set-asides to help African American people be employed.
Right.
So I think those two things, not independently of one another, but in conjunction with one another, help us to kind of deal with the violence issue.
But how do we really challenge the school system? I mean, that's number one on my list too.
Okay.
Because if we like you said, education is the key. But how do we really challenge the school system?
I think
it seems like we've been doing it for years. We've been trying to do it for years. But how do we really get their attention?
I think every student comes with a dollar sign attached to that student.
Right.
So then that means we have every right to be far more vocal than what we are. To the credit of the superintendent, the assistant superintendent of the Newcastle County Votech, I wrote him a letter, an email, said this is a problem. How can you have the predominantly white instructors, but no African American instructors in the classroom? There's a challenge. He said, well, we have to have highly qualified. It's a challenge sometimes getting African American teachers in place. So I said, if that's in fact the case, then why remove the ones you do have? Because I know 2 or 3 of them that have been recently removed and replaced by white teachers. So, of course, for me, it is tragic because both you and I know the history of Howard. It was the only place that African Americans could go. Right. So I think it holds a very special place. I think we have to be very, very vocal about and we have to be very, very vocal about the education or lack of education that they are providing our students. We have to be taught with an educational or a cultural sensitivity to that student and where he comes from. Johnny sitting next to Hakeem ain't the same because there are cultural differences. Right. And you have to be able to teach Hakeem from the perspective, and there's only a certain amount of people that understand Hakeem's plight. And that's why it's important to be able to have African American teachers in the classroom.
Yeah, that's probably one of my biggest frustrations is that how can we have schools like Wilmington Charter School? Like how can we have private schools that know how to make it happen, how to create successful students, but we can't do that. We can't apply that same model to all of our public schools. And it can't be just financial because the state, the city, there's plenty. I guess I should stay on the state level. there's plenty of money, but I think the priorities need to be changed. But how do we change the priorities of the people on the state level? I know you said you did write in, but I think that, I don't know, I think that it's going to take some like radical
Absolutely.
things to really get their attention. Because we
Absolutely.
talk about it, we talk about it, we talk about it, but until we like show up on their steps and don't move,
I agree with
I think we have to take it back almost to like the 60s.
I wholeheartedly agree with you. My mom often says that we don't fight anymore.
All right.
You know what I mean?
I think that's the problem right there.
And I absolutely agree with you, and am willing to work with you because I think we have to take it back to there, to those places.
I think that's the only way we're going to get their attention.
Absolutely. Agreed.
Because they've been hearing us talk about it, but then we talk about it and then it's gone.
Yes, yes. Which is also the issue with, if you notice, man, tragically, again, regrettably, it's also the issue with Trayvon Martin, right? How much are we hearing anymore about Trayvon Martin? You know, this senseless murder, a guy gets off, and it's like, okay, oh well, let's go on to the next issue now. And I think that we do a disservice to the memory of the brother if we don't keep the conversation alive around this issue.
Yeah, I think your mom hit the nail on the head when she said we don't fight anymore.
We don't fight anymore.
Yeah, I think that's that's it right
That's
there.
her statement. And you and I, man, in our generation, we have the responsibility. Remember, I did the passing the baton some time ago, right?
Yeah.
And our elder generation said, "We ain't passing you nothing. You take the baton. Ain't nobody pass us nothing." I think we have been kind of waiting on the sidelines for somebody to sanction. And for me, I don't wait on the sidelines waiting for anybody to sanction anymore. I believe it is our time and our turn to be able to address the ills and plights in a contemporary way that we have now. So I think the conversation of the complexities of color will do just that. Right. So if your audience goes to thecolorcomplex.info or just calls me at 302-325-9204, they'll be able to get more and more information about it. But I got to see them there because we got to hold the conversation. People say to me all the time, you know, all we do is talk. Well, talking begins it. Because at the moment you shut up, we see it with Trayvon Martin. The moment you shut up, it all goes away. So the conversation is necessary, but there has to be some things that are done after the conversation.
Right. All right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So once again, that's on this Saturday.
This coming Saturday, the
University
26th, University of Delaware, Mitchell Hall, 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock p.m. Dr. Mark Lamont Hill will be up. He'll share Dr. Yaba Blay, who has been featured on Soledad O'Brien's show. So we got some real heavy hitters that are coming and have given their time because they believe in the conversation and making sure that we can address this racial divide. And I believe at some point, if we can respect one another's cultures and races, I don't need at all to make you like me. I just need to respect who you are, and you respect who I am. I think we all can get along.
Yeah, I think we're probably one of the only cultures who has lost our identity.
Absolutely, man.
And it seems like we're almost apologetic sometimes when we try to get it back, or we try to fight for it.
Yes.
We almost find ourselves apologizing for it because we're just not used to doing it.
Yes, yes.
And
So
that's tragic.
a part of what we did to that end, though, man, a part of what we did was we engaged Delaware State University, focus groups from there, Drexel University, focus groups from there, Wilmington University, focus groups from there, and some lawyer friends of mine, Brenda Wise, got some of her colleagues together so that we would bring out of those focus groups what would drive the conversation. And I think a part of that is what Yaba Blay will address, and that is we have lost identity. And somebody said this to me the other day. You can go into certain parts of the city, you're going to see Hispanic America, you're going to see Little China, you're going to see all these different places, but there is no African place, right? No section of the city that is specifically dedicated to African influence because we are apologetic around our own culture. And so I think this conversation helps to at least have us capture again the necessity of us being proud. That's what James Brown said, right? He's the greatest psalmist that ever lived. You know, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud, right? So I think a part of that is the ability to recapture identity and to be proud of who we are.
Yeah, I saw something on it was an article or something. Might have been on Facebook. It said it was meant to be a joke, but it really struck a chord in me. It said, how can you tell if someone is Puerto Rican? It said, don't worry, they'll let you know.
Wow. Wow.
That just speaks to how proud they are
Absolutely, man.
of who they are.
Absolutely.
You know, of themselves.
Absolutely. And we're also the only, we attempt to fit in so much that our identity is only celebrated when we have somebody else in the room, you know, some other culture in the room. So for me, you know, I'm fulfilled if I can talk with another brother. It doesn't disengage me from having other relationships, but I'm proud to be, you know, and whenever we are, our president was castrated because they said, he's from Kenya. Okay, so what? So, and we're apologizing. No, he's not. What do you mean? No, he's not. Yeah, yes, okay. Right. So I think you make a valid point. You know, we're trying to defend the brother's blackness like he ain't black. Yes, he is. Yeah, he is. And who makes Donald Trump, you know, the investigator of blackness or the person who validates? I think we're crazy with it. So I think your point is absolutely valid. Yeah.
Well, all right, man. So they can call you. They can go to the website.
Yes.
Once again, it's free of charge.
Free of charge. They just got to get the ticket. So there's a countdown.
Okay.
And you know, the area only seats 600 and something. I think we're down to like 300. So we want to make sure this week everybody gets on. You know, our people, you know, we're going to do it at the last
Saturday
minute,
morning.
then they're going to be mad. Hey, Pastor, hook me up. Ain't no hooking you up.
All right.
You got it. So go today. Go right now and order your tickets, www.thecolorcomplex.info, or call me 325-9204. We'll hook you up ahead of time. We just can't hook you up on that day.
All right, and just real quick, before you leave, you know, right now there's a lot of concern, a lot of frustration around the violence in Wilmington, and we're so quick, and I guess rightfully so. People this does need to be addressed as far as, you know, what the police are going to do as far as you know, trying to curb some of the violence. But we need to really, instead of having all that focus on the police and what they're going to do, or Mayor Williams or what he's going to do, we need to really put that focus on how we're going to educate our kids.
Absolutely.
So they won't even be in that situation.
Absolutely.
Because like you said, if they're not educated, that's when they end up in that situation.
Absolutely.
It does have to be addressed, but we just put so much focus on police, and more police, we forget about what's really causing it.
Absolutely.
That's just the effect.
I absolutely agree.
There's kids
with you.
shooting each other. It's just an effect
I agree with
of
you.
us not educating them.
A part of our failure, though, and I want to challenge you and I. Part of our failure is you're a college-educated black man, right? I'm a college-educated black man,
Right.
and we have the responsibility to make education sexy. Right? Because a part of what has happened in our communities is we've said that for every brother who speaks properly, who enunciates properly, you're part of the white culture. Why are you a part of the white culture? Because you speak well, right? So a person like yourself who has graduated from college and still has swag, you become the poster child for that young man, that young lady out there who says, you know, because it fights the stereotype. As long as we think that you know, the brother Hill Harper fights the stereotype. Lil Romeo fights the stereotype, because these are educated brothers who still maintain a degree of swag. And I think that is necessary for us to be able to fight it. So I'm with you in the fight, but I think we have the responsibility of returning to those young men so that they don't just see, again, white face with education, synonymous with education. They see a college graduate, a person that they respect in yourself, and you got to be able to say, yeah, bro, but I graduated from college. You know what I mean? That's the responsibility that we have.
And I guess that's one of my, I wouldn't say it's a struggle at all to me, but a lot of people like get on me because I live at 24 the Market. Like, Trippy, why do you want to live there? Like, why would you subject your kids to that environment? And I guess I'm gonna be honest, I do struggle with it.
Okay.
Because I definitely want to protect my kids, but I feel obligated to live there.
Certainly.
Because I know that somebody is looking at me, like a kid, another child is looking at me in a positive light, saying, if he did it, I can do it too.
Absolutely.
So it is hard. I wake up and I'm worried about my kids' safety.
Yes.
But I can't find it like within myself to forsake the whole neighborhood.
Yes.
because I'm not trying to say I'm the savior, but I think I do bring some positivity
Right.
To that area.
Absolutely.
So it's really hard for me not to be there and
Certainly.
not to be in the city, because I just think that, so many of us that we're not visible enough.
Yes.
So how can we blame that child who just wants to be like that drug dealer that's
Right.
on the corner, and then
Right.
when he's 7 or 8, and now he's 13 or 14, now
Right.
he's selling drugs.
Right.
Now, how can we place that kind of burden when we really weren't there for him?
Dr. Angela Davis,
Mm-hmm.
from the party movement years ago, said we have an inability to connect the dots.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That when they see Trippy, they see a successful black man, family business,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't highlight the educational component. You went to school to be a
Right,
funeral
right.
director.
Mm-hmm.
You went to college, and we
Right.
just don't highlight that issue.
see, yeah,
and
that's-
so
that's true.
because of that, they see your end result, but they don't see the steps and stages that it took you to get there. And I
Right.
think we have the
That's important for
responsibility
me
of
to, yeah.
highlighting that so
That's
that they
right. That's a good
understand
point.
it's not the quick money. Because we just need to keep it 100, right? Every one of those brothers out there slinging gonna get caught or they gonna die. That's just what it is.
Yep.
That's for every one of them. Either they gonna go to jail, they gonna get caught, go to jail, or they gonna die, or
Right.
they gonna have sense enough to get out of the nonsense early, right? So our children, we have the responsibility of shielding them from that by telling them you can have the same path towards success, but you ain't got to die, but you got to be educated.
Right.
And they have valid points, Trippy, because they say, well, there's no longer civics in school. When you and I was in school, we had civics.
Yeah, that's true.
So now it's kind of left open. You can have a civics-like class, but you don't have to have civics anymore. So they don't know how to engage community. They don't know about the voting process until far later in their lives.
Yep.
So we have the responsibility to address that in the educational system. Because just going to school, go to school, that's only part of it. What are you teaching me when I'm in school?
Yeah.
So we
Yeah,
have the
you're right.
responsibility to challenge the school, make sure that they are teaching something that our young people can grab hold of, that they're culturally diverse and sensitive. But then we have to teach our young people, go to school and you get all that you can get. My mom used to tell me, if I say I don't like the teacher, she said, well, make them mad by getting the A. Come on, really, Mom? Give me, so that was her deal. So I think we have to do both of them. And we
Right.
have to celebrate and make sure people are at the table like Devin Henson.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? That brother is at the forefront. And I
Yes,
want to
he
shout
is.
out his new business. He got new business, new building, Education Voices.
Oh my God, he's a sharp dude,
Oh man, that
man.
brother. So when I want to know something about education, I'm gonna call Devin. Hey dude, help me out with this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So like you said, man, I don't mean to cut you off, but I gotta get ready to go
Okay.
to break. But like you said, there isn't one answer.
Right.
But we need to be a part of something.
Right.
That's a part of that
Right.
of the answer.
Right.
So
Let's make a commitment, you and I.
Okay.
Let's make sure that we begin to do exactly, because to your point, we can't be on here, talk about it, and then
Right.
let it all die. So you and I begin to work some things out over, let me get past the complexities of Scholar Summit,
All right.
and then that next week, put some things in place.
okay, I'm gonna rent the bus so we can go down in Dover and
Okay.
and sit out.
I ain't you playing, man. I'm so serious. That is perfectly fine with me.
All right, that's a deal.
That's a deal. Love you, boy.
I love you too, man. Thanks for coming on. I
You got it.
appreciate
Thank you.
I'm gonna take a very quick break, and then I'll be right back with our funeral announcements. Hello and welcome back. This time I'm going to have our funeral announcements. First, we have Mr. Michael Green, age 26, who departed this life October the 13th. His funeral services were on Thursday, and his burial took place in the Silverbrook Cemetery. Miss Tanzania B. Briscoe Woody, also known as Baby, age 39, departed this life October the 10th. Her funeral services were held on Friday, and her burial took place in the Grace Lawn Memorial Park. Miss Linwood Medley, age 54, departed this life October the 13th. His funeral services were on yesterday, and his burial was private. Miss Joyce Saunders, age 67, departed this life October the 10th. Her funeral services were also yesterday, and her burial took place in the Grace Lawn Memorial Park. Mr. Clarence Clark, age 66, departed this life October the 14th. His funeral services will be tomorrow at 11 a.m. at the Rock of Ages Missionary Baptist Church, 28 Meadowbrook Avenue in Belvedere. His viewing will be from 9 to 11, and his burial will take place in the Grace Lawn Memorial Park. Miss Diane Jackson, age 74, departed this life October the 13th. Her funeral services will also take place tomorrow at 11 a.m. at the St. Paul UAME Church, 3114 North Market Street. Viewing will be from 9 to 10:45 only, and her burial will take place in the Grace Lawn Memorial Park. Miss Ruth Ann Barry, age 82, departed this life October the 12th. Her funeral services will take place tomorrow at 11 a.m. at the New Destiny Fellowship, 906 East 16th Street. Viewing will be from 9 to 10:45 only, and her burial will take place in the Riverview Cemetery. Mr. Neil Elliott Sr., age 59, departed this life October the 12th. His funeral services will be on Tuesday at 11 a.m. at the Congo Funeral Home on 24th and Market Streets. Viewing will be from 9 to 10:45 only, and his burial will take place in the Delaware Veterans Cemetery. Services for Mr. Robert Watson, age 61, will be announced. Mr. Raymond Riley, age 84, departed this life October the 14th. His funeral services will be on Thursday at 11 a.m. at the Zion Fair Baptist Church, 1400 B Street in Wilmington. Viewing will be from 9 to 11, and his burial will take place in the Delaware Veterans Cemetery. Mr. George Howe, Sr., departed this life October the 18th. His funeral services will be on Saturday at 12 noon at the Congo Funeral Home on 2nd and Gray Avenue. The viewing will be from 10 to 12 noon. Services for Mr. Ozzie Custis, age 56, who departed this life on October the 13th, will be on Saturday at the Congo Funeral Home on 24th and Market Street. Viewing will be from 10 to 12. His services will start at 12, and his burial will be private. And services for Ms. Charlotte Brooker, age 73, who departed this life October the 17th, will be announced. And that concludes all of our funeral announcements. If you have any questions, please call us at the funeral home at 652-8887. Also, you can always go to our website at www.congofuneralhome.com. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you ever want to be a part of the Congo Hour, just give us a call. Give Anwena a call at 521-7253. Once again, her number is 521-7253. God willing, see you next Sunday. Stay tuned for Community Crossfire.